Hello, fourth grade. It's Mr. Sweet here, coming at you with another math lesson. Today we're going to do problem solving, finding the area. Okay, so we've already done in the previous lessons perimeter, how to find perimeter of polygons or uh, the outside shape, just adding side plus side plus side plus side, or 2 times length times 2 times width. Add those together. We've done area, length times width, or base times height. And we've also covered irregular shapes or combined rectangles. If you remember in our previous lesson, we had to add the area of 2 rectangles to get the total area. But today we're going to do something different. We're going to find specific area inside of a shape, for example, like a painting. We want to find the area of the frame, the surface area of the frame that takes up the amount of area for that instead of the entire frame and picture. And we're also going to show you the example of a sandbox inside of a playground. How much sod are we going to use? So again, we have everything we need to continue on with our formula. What area is length times width or base times height. So let's get started with the essential question. How can you use the strategy solve a simpler problem to solve area problems? Now, this essential question, basically, we're going to break down and we're going to find how much of a certain thing do we need to have on the surface area. Let's get specific in our example problem number 1. I'm going to read it out loud to you. A landscaper is laying grass for a rectangular playground. The grass will cover the whole playground except for a square sandbox. The diagram shows the playground in the sandbox. How many square yards of grass will the landscaper use? Okay, so for this one, I'm not going to cube this one up because there's not any information, a whole lot of information in this word problem, my example problem, but I am going to underline the question. How many square yards of grass will the landscaper use? And that is one question we have to answer. So not a multiple question, but just one question. So what we're going to do is look at our diagram. Okay, so if I look at my diagram, I have my sandbox, which is 6 yards. And this is the middle of my playground. And I know if this sandbox is a square, which it is, I know then this side over here, we know all sides are equal. So if this side is a 6 yard, this is going to be 6 yards. And then I'm also going to look at my playground. So my playground is going to be the rest of this area here. And this is going to be my grass or my sod. So this is my playground. Okay. Now, I need to get some dimensions for this playground as well. So I'm going to put 25 yards up top. That'll be the length base. And then we're going to do 15 yards on the side over here. Now, the question's asking us how much, let's go back up to the question, how many square yards of grass will the landscaper use? So how many square yards of grass will this landscaper use? So that's just telling me I need to find just the amount of grass or just the amount needed for this area here for the playground, the sod, but not the sandbox. So we're not going to look for the sandbox. So how do I do this? Well, the first step you need to do is remember your formula for finding area. Area is base times height or length times width. Okay, so I'm going to take my base or my length, 25. I'm going to multiply that times 15. Okay, so if we do the math, 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 5 is 10. Add the 2. 12. And then we're in our second partial product. Add your 0 for the second row. Going to make sure I mark out my carryover. And then I'm going to multiply 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 1 is 2. Add my 2 partial products for my final. So I get, if I multiply those two, I get 375 square yards, or I'm just going to write square yards. Now, again, that is, if we would be done if it wasn't for the sandbox, because the sandbox is actually cutting a piece of the grass on this edge here, and I have to subtract this amount because I don't need the sandbox amount. So I have the total surface area to include the sandbox, but I have to make sure I am subtracting this guy here, the amount for the sandbox. So the second step is you guys are going to find the surface area for the amount for the sandbox, okay? So the sandbox, we know, in a square, all sides are equal. So if my base is 6 yards, or my length, then my height or width is 6. So when I do my sandbox, I'm going to multiply my length, width, or base times height. I'm going to multiply 6 times 6. And we get 36 square yards. Okay, so now to answer my question, how much grass will I need for square yards of grass will the landscaper use? How much they're going to use? I have to subtract the two. So I know this is 36 total, and I know the total amount for the playground is 375, but I'm going to subtract the two. So then I take over here, I'm going to take 375 minus 36. Okay, so this is my sandbox, and this is my total amount. So when I subtract those two, so if you do the math, we are going to, can't take 6 from 5. We're going to borrow from the 10s, please. Add 10 over there. 15 minus 6 is 9. 6 minus 3 is 3. Bring down a 3. 339 square yards. So I'm sorry, guys, square yards. Let's rewind these. So these are square yards up here. So square yards. Okay. I don't know. I think earlier I just put square yards, squares, squared. So square yards. Square yards. And I'll fix this one too. So square yards. So your answer is 339 square yards. And that is just the amount for the grass itself. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video and rewind if you need to. Just kind of look at the formulas or look at the steps to find specific areas, for example, this playground. And when you're ready, hit play. We'll move on to question 1. Okay, welcome back. Question 1 of our lesson today. I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud. A room has a wooden floor. There is a rug in the center of the floor. The diagram shows the room and the rug. How many square feet of the wood still show? Now, when we do this, I need to add some dimensions. So again, imagine this is the wooden floor. This is the total surface of the floor. And I'm going to go ahead and give the dimensions over here. I'll put 10 feet. Then down here, I'll do 13 feet. Okay. And then our rug will be in the center here. This will be our rug. And I'll give our rug some dimensions of 8 feet and 6 feet. So just to help you guys out, the question again is how many square feet of wood will still show? So again, this is our rug in the center. This is our rug. So when you guys find the problem or the answer, how many square feet of wood will still show, you guys just need to find how much this area is right here. So you're looking for how much of this is still going to show. Okay. So just remember, if you have any questions on how to do this, go to the example problem 1 to help you kind of understand how to figure out what the blue part or this area is surrounding your rug. So go ahead and pause the video now and answer your question on It's Learning. See you soon. Welcome back. Good to see you. And we are on our last question of the day. Question 2. A rectangular painting is 24 inches wide and 20 inches tall without the frame. So without the frame. With the frame, it is 28 inches wide and 24 inches tall. What is the area of the frame not covered by the painting? So again, guys, you're going to have to get your dimensions out. So I've already drawn the actual frame. And don't forget the painting here. So the painting's going to go in the center. If you guys didn't know, Mr. Sweet is an artist. I am the Picasso of stick figures. I made the Mona Lisa smile. It's true. So there's your painting. So you guys are going to give your frame a dimension. And so make sure you get your dimensions for your frame, and make sure when I say dimensions, I'm talking about the height and the base or the width or the length. And then for your painting, make sure you get your 2 dimensions here as well. Okay. So don't forget to do cubes. Start with circling the information you know. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video now. Pause the video now. And answer your question on It's Learning. Yeah. So pause on It's Learning. This is the last question of the day. So it was nice teaching you guys. Miss you guys. And my sign out is thanks for stopping by. See you guys soon.